Hey, it's me again, Dave Sabados. I'm here to continue your launch program, and we're setting up some more stuff in Matrix. And today we're going to talk about web forms. So you'll see here on your main screen when you enter into your Matrix, you have this little box called external links. So this is where we get our contracts from. So it's called the Webforms 2019 SSO. So if you click that, it's going to open up a new tab. And when it opens, you're going to have a dashboard just like Matrix, but for your web forms, so for your contracts, okay? So here's a couple of things that you need to do right away as a new agent when you enter into web forms. So the first thing is over on your left-hand side, if you click this little, hamburger here, it'll tell you what all this stuff is for, okay? Now, web forms is the only place that you should be getting your forms from to write contracts. Don't ask them from a friend who's downloaded a purchase and sale agreement a year ago or working with a realtor. You must get them from here because, and here's why. Your board will update these forms and there'll be no notification. Okay, so if you pull a form from a friend who saved it a year ago and you use that form on a current contract, that form could be out of date and therefore rendering your contract null and void. All right. So I know there's lots of people out there, myself included when I first started, who took the forms, downloaded them onto my computer so I could go to my client's house and I could just do the forms right there. And it's a dangerous thing to do. Okay. All right. So first things first. Over on the left-hand side, you click your little hamburger, your menu pops out so you can see what they are. We are going to go down here to setup, very first thing. So we're going to hit setup. So you're going to go to your preferences. You're going to go to your user information. Make sure everything in here is correct. If you want to put your license ID in here, you can. Make sure your phone number, everything is good. See, and here, even myself, I haven't done this in a while. So this is no longer my website. It's actually davidsabados.ca, and it's HTTPS. Okay, so I hit update. Now that's updated. Okay, pick your GMT time, apply the daylight savings time, and then make sure everything is correct. Good. So now we're going to go to office information. This should be all auto-filled, so you don't have to change anything in here. And then your email signature. So we did this in our setup before, but if you, in Matrix, so if this is blank, just fill this in, make sure you have an email signature in here, okay? And then your branding. You can, here, see, you can tell I haven't done this in a while. This is when I was about 50 pounds heavier and good like 6 years ago. So you click on here and we're going to change that picture. So pick out your headshot. So I'm just going to go to where I have my headshots. I'm going to go in here. I created a smaller one like that. We're going to open. Good. Oh, it doesn't the width and height. Okay, so it seems to be okay though. It should be 120 by 145. It should be all right. We'll play with it after. If you got your company logo, you can put it in there. So you put your company logo. You can go into your admin. The executive admin for the office should have sent you an email with all those logos in here. We're just going to go here, RGB. Yeah, Keller Williams Capital Realty. We're going to go open. does not match, but that's okay. It's in here. It seems to be working fine. Everything's there inside the box, so that's good. All right. So now we're going to go back to our settings. We're going to go to notifications. Well, this is an important one. So what you want is, I think, no, task. No, this isn't where I wanted to bring you. Never mind. We're going to go back into here. Checklist management trends. They've changed this a little bit. Okay, no, that's good. All right. So we're back in our little gearbox. There's the one that's important though is right here, this shopping cart. So if you click on the shopping cart, your office is giving you access and you'll have your login information with the email that you received, your welcome email. DocuSign is free. So yours is going to come up and it's going to look like this: learn more or link. So you're going to press the link and then you just follow what it says to do. Okay, so put your username in, allow access, and follow it through, and you will be linked. This is important because your contracts can be filled out inside of Webforms and then sent directly to DocuSign. You add the recipient, and it's sent directly to them to sign by email. Okay, so very important. Make sure your DocuSign is linked. So again, it's over here, the little shopping cart, and then go in there and link it. All right. Excuse me. All right, so now we're going to go back up here. I'm going to click this little hamburger so you see what they are. I'm going to go to the dashboard. Okay, every time you click something, that just disappears. But if you want to see it, you just click the little hamburger and you can see it. All right. So here's the second thing you need to do. You need to create templates. It just saves you a lot of time. All right. So we're going to create a template. I'm just going to show you how to create a quick template. You're going to see in here, I have mine all set up already. So I have residential listing, residential listing test. This was one that I had built for another training. Residential purchase dual agency and residential purchase non-dual agency. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to confirm. All right. So those are my 3 templates that I use the most. All right. Now we're going to add a template. We're going to create a template. So yours is going to be blank. You're just going to have a blank screen here. So you're going to hit this add button. And you're going to name it. So we're going to name it residential listing. Okay, so first one we'll create is listing. So the type, you click on that, and it's going to be for a residential listing. And you can give it a description if you want. But I'm going to name it, I'm actually going to name it so I can identify it later. I'm just going to put test at the end, or I'll put training at the end, so I know which one it is when I have to go back and get rid of it. So I'm going to hit save, but you don't put that, just put residential listing, save. Okay, so you're going to get this screen come up. So your next screen will be to go down to documents and folders, or sorry, forms. My mistake. You want forms. You're going to hit this little plus sign to add forms. So now you're going to get where all your forms are. All right. So when you're doing a listing, what's the first thing you need? Right. First thing you need is from the New Brunswick Real Estate Association. You need all the way to the bottom. The very first one is the working with a realtor. Okay. You don't do anything without that working with a realtor being read, understood, and signed by your clients. Then your next one will be up here, your listing agreement. Okay. Now, save yourself some time, and I'm going to come down here. You're also going to need a residential property disclosure statement. So when you're doing a listing and you've done your listing, it's all signed. Now you take out your residential property disclosure statement and you have them go through it and answer all the questions, and then they can sign it. So we're going to add that into the template. Now, depending on what type of templates, you can make all kinds of templates. This is just going to be a basic one. We don't have to worry about a dual agency agreement. Agreement, we don't need any of that. This is all for a listing. So we're going to add those 3 documents. So now here's your forms. They're all in your template, but there's one more you need. Now, if we were live, I'd ask you what it is, but I'm going to tell you. So you need your FinTrack. Okay, FinTrack, super important. Don't forget it. Best practice when you're sitting with your client, FinTrack them. Do the FinTrack form. All right, so I'm going to hit FinTrack, and we need FinTrack individual identification information record. So I'm going to click the little circle, and I'm going to add that. There. So now our forms, just going to click the down arrow, our forms are in. Okay, so this is what we need for a listing. Incorrect. One more. There's one more form we need, and it's in the NBRA real estate. No, it's not. Back to individual forms. It is in the Greater Moncton Realtors, the Grand Moncton, and that is our input form. So we have matrix input form. So we need a residential input form for detached, semis, mobile mini, multifamily, townhouses, or condo. Okay. That's the most common one. There are different ones. You could be just doing a condo. You could be just doing a multifamily 5+ units. You could be doing a farm, but for simplicity, this is the one we use the most. We're going to add that form. So we're going to add that. All right, so we're done. Okay, so it's done. Whoops, I'm going to get rid of this at the bottom here. So we got a template. Now, if we go back, I'm just going to click the hamburger. We go back to our dashboard. And if I want to create a transaction, okay, this is the template. This is the transaction. This is how you add your forms to a template, and this is where the transaction is. So we're going to create a new transaction. So you're going to get this wizard pops up. You're going to name it. So 123 Main Street. And then we're going to pick your template. See what I mean here? So we're going to go residential listing, the template that we created, and we're going to hit that. Now, in a listing, you're not going to select a source because it does not have an MLS number. If you select a source, it's going to ask you for an MLS number, okay? And there isn't one yet. Then you have the listing, add me as the listing agent, okay? You have different options, selling agent, neither, both, but you're the listing agent. And then you hit create. So it's going to take you through a wizard. Now, I don't really go into these and add everything. You can. The more information you add, the easier your forms become. But I like to do it on the form just because things change. So transaction dates and stuff like that, you could add that in. We're not gonna enter anything in there. We go next. So the listing agent is David Savados and the broker is Keller Williams Capital Realty. That's correct. We go next. Here's our forms. Now, say you made your template, but it's going to be not for, so your input form is not going to be for any of these. It's going to be for a multi-unit. You can click the add button right here before you start your transaction. So you can go to add, you can go to the Greater Moncton, and then you want to add, maybe it's just a condo that you're listing. So you would select that and you can add it. I'm not going to do that, but you can add it and it will add it to the transaction. There's a couple of ways of doing this. That's the first one. And because I didn't add it, you've selected forms. Are you sure you want to leave? And yes, I do. All right. So we got the forms we want. So we click next. This is automatic. It automatically puts this in, and then we hit done. So now this is our transaction. This window is now our transaction, okay? And here, excuse me, you can go in, open up each form. So you're working with a realtor. It's up to you how you present this, but it must be presented before any business is conducted or forms are signed. This is the first one. Read this, understand it. If you have questions, ask. Okay, and this is a prime example. This form just changed recently. So if someone had saved a working with a realtor on their computer and used an old one, it's actually invalid. It's no good. Okay, they changed this down here to concurrent representation and the meanings of each one. Now, here's where you can do things paperless, right? So you could sit right on your computer, right at your client's house, and enter their name. I'm just going to put David Sabados. Okay. Oops. Can't even spell my own name. There we go. I'm going to hit David Sabados. And there we go. Done. So there's a couple of ways. File, go down to the, hover over the file, hover over your save, and you can save it in a few ways. So you can just save it, and it just saves it in your Webforms. You can save it as a PDF and download it to your computer. Or if you're going to go to a client that doesn't have internet access, or maybe even data, there's areas where you can't get access, and you know that, you can save it as an editable PDF to your computer. So when you open it on your computer, any of the forms you can do this with, by the way, you open it on your computer, you don't need internet. So you fill it all out. You can still stay paperless, or you can print it out and bring it with you and have them fill it out by hand. It's just, nobody wants to see my handwriting, so I do it this way. But save it as an editable PDF, and then when you open it on your computer at your client's house, you can fill it out just like this, save it, and then when you get somewhere that you can email to email them the link to DocuSign to sign them, you can just do it that way. Or again, you could have printed them, brought them with you. Okay. And then you can hit up here, you hit save and exit, and you go to your next form. So your next form is going to be your listing agreement. So you go into your listing agreement, and then you enter the information. So, I'm just going to put 123 Main Street, Moncton, and then NB. You notice how there's a section for each one. Make sure you're doing it that way. Put the postal code in. And a lot of this you can have done before you even go to your clients, okay? So make sure that the PID number is in there, okay? And then your listing agent, so you click on the little drop-down arrow here, and you put whatever board you're with. And then you're going through this with them, right? So you're reading each line to them, and you're telling them, when I send this to you, we're going to initial in any box that we've decided upon. Residential property disclosure statement, you're going to tell them, okay, we're going to put initials in this box. So either you're doing it on paper with them, or you're telling them that, and then you're sending it in DocuSign and adding those initials for them to sign electronically. Okay. You're going to list the house for 350, 123, 250,000 autofills. If you have any if the agreement is subject to any further terms and conditions or limitations, you would add them here. Excuse me, make sure that you are reading these. The spousal consent one is very important. So if you're listing a house and it's only in the name of the husband, the wife still needs to sign. Spousal consent is required. Okay, doesn't matter that they're just the one person. If they're living together and they're a married couple or common law, they need spousal consent. So at the end of the form, both parties will need to sign. And you will need to FINTRAC both parties. Okay. All right. And then, so you read this, make sure they understand it. Tell them what they're going to be initialing, or have them initial it. Then you decide with the client when the listing is going to take effect. You can just hit the calendar. Listing is going to take effect on Monday. You know, and then here's a super important part. Don't forget this, so you don't get paid. Okay. So immediately on closing of the sale, you're going to put in here your 5%, and that a listing will pay a commission. A listing agent will pay a commission to the buyer's agent of 2.5%. All right. Then you're going to tell them that they're going to initial that. Then they're going to initial the bottom of the page. And the same as these, you read them and you initial do or do not, do or do not. If there's any addendums or addenda signed by me, these will be put in here. So any schedules or anything that has to be, that maybe it's not on titles, and okay, so that has to be put in here, and they need to initial. If there is nothing, you would put NA. All right, don't leave it blank, because anybody can write anything they want in there. If you put NA and then have them initial it, it's done. All right. And this is another reason here why the working with a realtor is done first, because you're going to work backwards if you do this. Okay. So working with a realtor, number one form first, always. And just so you know, this stupid line here is on all the contracts. And all this means is it doesn't matter who signs first. That's all it means. It took 3 years and 4 lawyers to figure that one out. But yeah, there it is. Okay. This is the Personal Information Protection Electronic Documents Act. So you explain this to them as if, like, if the listing expires, do you want other agents calling you to get your listing, to list your house? Or do you not want them calling you? Most of the time it's do not, and it depends on the client. Maybe they do. Maybe they're not going to be happy with you, okay? Just make sure that doesn't happen. So then you put the listing agreement shall expire 1 minute before midnight. And I always go 6 months, but it's between you and your client. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and today's the 28th, I'm going to go to the 29th of July. All right. Then you put in here dated at Moncton, and you can just hit the calendar, go today. And then you put, if you're signing this, okay, here's an important part. If you're signing this on paper and they're doing it in front of you, you must witness, you must sign beside each of their names. Okay. So they're going to put their name here. You're going to witness it beside it. And then you have to make sure that you have their address. So 1, 2, 3 at the very bottom, Main, Street, Moncton, NB, E1A, 4L5. Okay, all this information needs to be filled out, or the board's going to send it back to you and say it's not done correctly. And it's nothing more embarrassing than going back to your client saying, oops, okay, they doesn't look professional. My suggestion to you, very first contract you do, whoever your sponsor is, or if you have a coach, a mentor, send it to them to proofread and correct if there's any mistakes. And that way, when you do send it, it is primo. All right. You look like a pro, you know what you're doing, even though it may be your first contract. All right. So 2 ways to do this. You print it out. You've done this on the phone with them, maybe on a Zoom meeting. You print it out and you bring it to their house. Or you hit file, make sure you hit the save button. So you save it, and then you save and exit. And then you're going to have the matrix residential input form. All right. So this form's super important. Anything in red must be filled out. Okay. So 123 Main Street, Moncton, New Brunswick, UNA 4L5. We're going to go district. Moncton East, and the sub-district, say it's Louisville. Now, to find these, remember back in the training when we were looking at the external links on Matrix, there is a PDF that you can click on there that will pull up a booklet of all the streets, their districts and sub-districts. So don't guess, make sure it's right, okay? Then you're gonna take the type of home. So we're gonna say this is a one level bungalow. Notice that this is not red, okay? You don't have to fill these out. The more information you put, the better it is for other realtors to find the proper information, okay? So that's it, it's a detached home. Now, if it was a mobile or a mini, you would put a mini or a mobile, but only one can be used, all right? If it was a townhouse, you would put that in. If it was multifamily 2 to 4 units, then you put that in, this information in. So the title to land is freehold, meaning they own the land. It could be a foreclosure or an estate sale, power of attorney, or a leasehold, maybe a condo, it depends, okay? Occupancy, the owner lives in it, or maybe it's tenant, or maybe it's vacant. Lockbox, are you putting a lockbox on it? Yes. Is there a survey? Most of the time, no, but ask your client. If there is one survey, you put yes. If there isn't, you put no. Okay? PCS is your property condition statement, so your PCDS, right? You're going to add, you're going to provide one, so you put yes. Is it a hobby farm? You don't have to put that. Does it have a rental income? Maybe it's got potential, or maybe it does. Maybe it's got an in-law suite, okay? So we're just gonna put here potential. Then your footage. Here's my advice to you. Go get one of them roll-up tapes from Home Depot or from Kent or from whatever hardware store that you use. Get a 200-foot one. Hook it onto the side of the house and you measure the outside of the house and then you get your square footage, okay? So you're gonna have your above grade square footage by doing this. So say I have 1,400 feet. I've measured the house and it's 1,400 square feet. My below grade finished. So maybe the entire basement's finished. So I have another 1,400 square feet. But maybe I have 200 square feet that is not finished. So I go 200. So you've measured a room downstairs that is 200 square feet and it's not finished. So you would put 200, okay? And this will show up on your listing. So make sure you have the correct information. Make sure you do it right, okay? Here you can put your school zones in if you'd like. You'll find some do, some don't. Then you need a PAN number. You get this information, your PID, your PAN, the assessment, the tax amount, and the tax year. You get this off Service New Brunswick, the Planet site. Don't get it from an old listing. Don't get it from a friend. Don't believe the owner. Okay? You must have correct information here. And the only way to get that correct information is from Service New Brunswick, the Planet site. So put your PAN number in, okay? The year built, if you know it, so maybe it was built in 1971. The assessment is 3,500, or sorry, the assessment is 208, 123, 208,000. Your tax amount is say 3,500 per year, and then your tax year is 2022. So whatever year you're in, and then you can put possession. So you can put a date, or yeah, if you need to put a date. So possession, they don't want to be moving out until the 1st of March. All right, you can put that in there, or you can leave it blank, or type in negotiable. Okay, so it's up to you. The lot size, again, off of Service New Brunswick. You have to go by Service New Brunswick. So if your lot size is under half an acre, so maybe it's like, I don't know, 850 square feet. So you go imperial, all right? So the imperial. But if it was in meters, then you'd have to hit the metric, okay? So we're gonna put imperial, so we're gonna put 850, and then your building dimensions. Remember, you measured the building. All right, so we're gonna put building dimensions. Do you have to put them in? No, but the more information you put, the better. So I'm just gonna fill something in here. So what, 30 by, with an X by 25, and I'm going to put imperial. Okay. Then there's a little explanation of room types that you can put in here that you can use for your next section. Specify your measurements. If you're measuring in feet and inches, then click the imperial. If you're measuring by meters and centimeters, then you click metric. Okay, I always do imperial. Everybody seems to know it better, but some want the metric, and then that'll be up to them. All right. So you got features, right? These are this box here, and this box here are the terms you should be using. Okay. So a room level, you're going to put in each room. So main level, you're going to put kitchen. Then you're going to measure it, add it. Okay. Then you're going to go to the next one, main, living room. You're going to measure it and add it. Okay. So you do all the rooms this way. Then you're going to come down to the next section. Property size is under 0.5 acres. What heating and cooling is there? All right, so maybe you have baseboard electric. You have heat pump ductless, so a mini split. Okay, and then and maybe there's a wood stove in it. If they have their heating bill and their electricity bill information per month, you can put that in there as well. More information, the better. Water. Okay, it's on municipal or any of these. And sewer is on municipal or it's on any of these. And make sure you know. Rental equipment. It's usually the hot water tank. All right. But they may have a propane tank as well. They may have dusted on lights from NV Power. Make sure they're checked off. Okay. The roof, if it's metal, tar and gravel, concrete, usually asphalt shingle or metal. Okay. Flooring. Put the flooring in. Ask them what it is. You got hardwood. We have ceramic marble. We have and some vinyl. All right. So you can put maximum of 4. Features. Has a baby barn. There is a deck. There are, let's see here, maybe there is an in-law suite. This is important. If you have a house that you're listing and there's an in-law suite, make sure you're checking this off, because when they search for houses, other realtors search for houses with in-law suites, and this isn't checked off, they don't show up in the search. And it's really a pain in the butt when you have to go and look through each house, read the description, so that, because the agent just put it in there, oh, there is an in-law suite, by the way. Make sure you check that off, okay? Maybe there's there's smoke detectors and there's a storage shed. All right, so you can pick 10 features. If there's a garage, you can put it's an attached double, and then you put your dimensions in, 20 by 25. All right, imperial. Make sure you check off which one you're using. Driveway. It's a double and it's paved. Okay, whatever the driveway is, put it in. Access. So you have a year-round municipal road. You have a public road. Foundation is concrete, fully finished. Okay. Exterior is, say, vinyl and brick. Okay. Land features. It's mostly you put landscaped and level. If it is, maybe you got a mountain view. Maybe there is, let's see, maybe it's a green belt, so there's no neighbors to the rear, right? Whatever there is, you add them. You can add up to 4. Site influences. Is it close to churches, public transportation, and shopping nearby? Put all 3. Services. Most everywhere has all services now, but if you want to highlight, it has garbage pickup, high-speed internet, and there is natural gas. Right? Maybe it's in a newer neighborhood that has underground wiring. Add that. Publish address to public internet sites? Yes. See how quickly you can do this, okay? And you're going to verify this, by the way, with the owner. You're going to go through this with them, and you're going to verify it. Then you put your public remarks. Now, you just type in, and don't start with this, oh, welcome to 123 Main Street. That is just, anyway, it's up to you what you do, but I recommend you don't do that. Tell a story about the house. Upon entering the grand foyer, you will place your items in the large walk-in entry closet and then enter into the living room. Walk through the house in a description. Make it interesting, because I know people think that no one reads them. Oh, they read them. And the owner will read it, and they will want a good write-up. It'll be very important to them. So don't take it lightly, okay? If you want to put, for French, if you want to put the French remarks in, make it French, put it in there. Member remarks. So this section is for, telling, the public doesn't see this, just other realtors see this. So you want to make sure, all COVID, caps lock, COVID, protocol, oh my God, protocols. Oh, I can't even spell today. Are followed. Key box is on side of, side of house. Okay, so whatever you're going to put in there. Driving directions. Notice it's red. Must have driving directions. Take blah, blah. Just put your driving directions in there. If there's inclusions, we're leaving the fridge, the stove, the washer, the dryer, okay, put them in. Maybe something's not staying. China cabinet in dining room, okay, belongs to owner and is an antique. And you can put so will not be staying, but exclusions kind of says that. Antique. And then down here, if you have more rooms that didn't fit in the first section, you click off this again, go here, room level, basement. You could put basement, family room, measure it, put it in. Oh, bathrooms, by the way. So if you put a bathroom, sorry. So basement, bathroom, measure it. Is it a 4-piece or is it a 3-piece? Make sure you put that in there. Oh, or maybe it's a 2-piece. Okay, 3-piece bathroom. I would tell them it's a full bath. Okay. Maybe it's a 2-piece. That would make it a half bath. All right. The board needs to know this. And then that's it. So now you hit save and exit after you've clarified this with the owner and that everything is correct. And then you would, later on, we'll learn which forms we're sending to the admin in order to get it sent to the board and what we're sending to the board, okay? So now everything's ready. Oh, no, it is not. We have one more, and it's your FinTrack. So this is the FinTrack form, can also be saved as an editable. So if you don't want to, if you can't get internet access or data access, and you know it, save as an editable, and you can come in here and sit with them with their government photo ID. You'll have done your FinTrack training, so you'll know what you need to fill out. Fill out all the information as you go, right? Credit, sorry. So you're getting the information from you, the information to them, their document, and make sure nature of principal business or occupation isn't just if they're retired from what? Okay. Retail, a retail salesperson. You can just put retail salesperson. You do not have to put retail salesperson at Walmart. Okay, you can put just retail salesperson, but retired, you have to say retired from what? Retired from military, retired from um, engineering or engineer, retired, whatever. Okay, then you fill these out, and then go fall back on your training. But normally, your FinTrack training, but normally you just need to scroll down to here, ask them that if this sale is being done by a third party, and they say no, you click no. Okay, important. They will send this back to you if you don't click one of these. And if it's yes, then you need to enter the third party information. Client risk is your last part of the form. So they are either a Canadian citizen or resident physically present. If they are physically present, you can click that. If you're doing it on a Zoom call, then they are not physically present. All right, so you need to click Canadian citizen, not physically present. So they're from out of province, or they're in another town, or we're in COVID lockdown again, or some type of lockdown and you have to do it by Zoom. They are not physically present. Okay, but normally, yes, they would be physically present. Okay, then yeah, all the way down. So if they are, that's a low risk. If they are medium risk, and you figure something's not quite right, but you're moving ahead anyway, write it in there. And if they're high risk, they're a foreign citizen or resident that operates in a high risk country, physically present or not, right? And then you'll have to get a hold of your broker to find out what countries, if you feel that maybe they are, okay? And then you just click on here. It's a residential property, or it's a commercial, or it's a property for income purposes, or land for commercial use, whatever it is. And then that is it. But the FinTrack form itself, do your FinTrack training so you know what all these sections mean. Just make sure that you do it. And then you hit save and exit. All right, so now that's done. Now remember, we set up your your DocuSign in the little shopping cart there, right? So you're all done. Everything's ready to be signed. Simple way of doing it, instead of going to each form, printing them out, having them sign it, you can go right here on the left, on the right-hand side, click on Forms. The forms you need them to sign are the working with a realtor, you need the listing agreement, and that's it. Oh, and the residential property disclosure statement. So once you've gone through the residential property disclosure statement with them, the statement with them, they need to also sign that. So you need all three. And it's good to have it done when you're sitting with a listing, a client that's going to list their house. It's good to have that statement filled out and signed right at the listing. That way you're not waiting for an offer and then running around with this statement to get them to fill it out and sign it. It's ready to go. So when the buyer's agent asks for it, you just send it. Simple as that. Okay. All right. So these are the three: working with a realtor, listing agent, or listing agreement, and your residential property disclosure statement. So you have all three. You notice the little cart, little basket here has the number 3 on it. So click the basket. So the 3 forms are there. And if you need to remove one, you just hit the remove. Okay. But you see, this is why we connected DocuSign, is for this little pen here. You can either send it to DocuSign, or you can make it a PDF, all 3, or print them right from here. Instead of doing each form separately, you could print them all. But we want to send it to DocuSign. I'm just going to show you what happens when you do that. So we're going to hit send to DocuSign. And this is why your DocuSign is connected to your Webforms, for this very purpose. It's going to load up DocuSign right from Webforms. No printing, no fuss, no muss. Okay, it's I'm recording this on a Zoom, so it is a little slow. Bear with me. It's usually much faster than this. There we go. So it's going to load those 3 forms in. Now, there's something you have to do before you can go and start adding signatures and that. You have to tell DocuSign who it's going to. All right. So I'm going to add a recipient, and it's simple. You add the name. So, and you'll notice if you've done it before, it's going to auto-populate. So you add the name, and it adds the email. if you've never done it before, you're going to have to type the full name in, their legal name, and their email that they've given you. Now, if there's more than one person to sign, you would hit add recipient. Okay, and then you would enter the same that one, and then you would hit set signing order if there's two. Okay, so it could be for Carol Brunet. Oop. Carol Brunet. And let's say I just put another address in tied in at hotmail.com. All right, and then you hit set signing order. But this is just for one, so I just wanted to show you this. And then you would hit done, and it would come back to your forms. But we're going to take this off, and then we're going to scrap this second person. So you enter that person in. Over here, you make sure it says needs to sign. If it doesn't, click the little arrow and click on needs to sign. Okay. Then you click done. Now you'll notice up here in the left-hand corner, it says David Savados, and I have to go through the form, scroll down, excuse me, where it says David Savados. I need to just click on the signature. You don't have to hold it and drag it. Just click on it, move your mouse over, and drop it. Then you notice here for the date. All right, click the date, and you drop it. All right. Then you come into the listing agreement. Now, remember these boxes were not filled out, right? So we've already agreed which ones we're doing. So I'm going to put the initial. So I do want the RPD. I am providing the statement. Notice a little line here. So when you drag this, right, put the little line right on there, and it'll keep it in the center of the box. Okay. And initial, I do want the MLS system. Drop it in there. This is the important one, so you get paid, right? You're agreeing that that's how they're going to pay you. And then each page has an initial at the bottom. So make sure you don't miss any. Then you go, I do want to sign on my property. Then I do authorize a key box. Okay, there are no addendums. So I'm going to have them initial that. And then all representations made, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, and then you get it. So each box has to, whatever you agreed upon, I always put it on do not agree, but that's up to your client. And then you have the signature. They need to sign it. You do not need a witness with DocuSign. DocuSign is the witness. Okay, it records it, dates, timed, everything. And then you go to your residential property disclosure statement. They will have already checked all these off, okay? And then each page needs an initial, okay? Each page needs an initial. Make sure that every question is answered, and you don't answer them. They do. You can, and some will argue this, you can sit there on Webforms with them, have them read the question, and then give you the answer, and then you click yes or no, okay? Or does not apply, or do not know. Excuse me. So you go through the entire form, signature or initials at the bottom of each page, and then they need their signature, okay? You notice here with DocuSign, I didn't fill this in. You don't need to if you're using DocuSign. Just put your date signed here and done. It tells, DocuSign says where it was signed, who signed it, and at what time and what day. And then you send it. So you send that off. I'm not going to send it, but just to show you. So now you go back to your forms, hit this close. I think this is in the way. All right. And then you're done. That's it. So you can go back to your dashboard. So that was a listing agreement. Now we're going to do a template, and then we're going to end this. Okay. I just want to show you a template for purchasing as the buyer's agent. So we're going to hit the add. We're going to name it residential purchase non-dual agency. training. You don't have to put training. I'm putting training so I know which one it is. And then we're going to put residential sale. You can put a description if you want, but then we hit save. And we get that same screen again. We're going to go down to our forms and we're going to hit plus. So we need, again, the very first form for everything is working with a realtor. We need the agreement of purchase and sale agreement. Make sure you don't click the wrong one. That's the amendment. Agreement of purchase and sale. You want that one? You might want to include the radon guide. That's up to you. Agreement for sale, agreement per buyer agency, contract, dual agency. If it was a dual agency, you could add that. And dual agency means either you're not representing, but you're on both sides of the sale, or another agent in your broker is on the other side of the sale. That's dual agency. Okay. If it's from another agent or another broker, don't worry about it. You're not dual agency. Come down here. Just going to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, that's good. So we're going to add that. So we have our working with a realtor, our agreement of purchase and sale, and what else do we need? Yeah, I know, I got an answer for you. We need the FinTrack form. Okay, so FinTrack individual identification, and we add it. Maybe there's two people. You might have to, what I do, and I'll tell you what I do for both of them, I usually add 2 FinTracks, just in case I need them. Okay, so I'll just add it again, and then there'll be 2 FinTracks in there. So now I got 2 FinTracks, agreement purchase and sale, and then working with a realtor. Okay, and we hit update. So now when I go here and I want to create a new transaction, not a template, a new transaction for, I'm the purchasing agent. Actually, let's pick an actual, just so I can show you, I'm going to pick an actual MLS listing. Okay, so you pull up your listing, your clients are making an offer on this one, copy the MLS number, copy it, go back into your form. So you're going to name it, what was the address? 126 Lori Lynn. Okay, so we're just going to go 126 Lori Lynn, whatever it was, however it was spelled. We are using the template training one. So this is a residential purchase non-dual agency. Now we are going to select a source. So when you're on the buyer's side, you're going to select that source. So see how it asks you for the MLS number? Paste that MLS number in there and hit create. Takes you to your wizard, and we are not going to go through filling out a purchase and sale agreement. We'll make a whole new video for that one. Okay, so a listing is pretty easy as long as you follow the proper steps. So go next, go through, right? Notice how it puts in, I'm the selling agent, he's the listing agent, broker, another the seller's name, and the listing broker. And I picked a bad one, property guys. But anyway, next. I got my forms, and if I need to add any, I can add some. Next, because this one actually this was property guys, you would actually need to add a seller's fee agreement because the owner of this house is privately selling, and you would have to have them agree to pay you the commission of 2.5%, 3%, whatever you're charging. Okay, we're not going to go into that. Next, and then done. So now you sit with your client, you do the working with a realtor, you do your agreement of purchase and sale, you do your FinTrack, and if there's a seller fee agreement, that's not with that client, it's with the actual owner of the house. Don't want to confuse you, we're not going to go there yet. All right. Then when you're ready, do the same thing. Go to your forms. They're ready to go. You need this one signed. You need this one signed. You go to your basket, click your pen, send it to DocuSign, and follow the same steps. Okay? Initials and signatures. All right. So I'm gonna get out of that one. I don't want to be doing that. So I'm going to, just to show you, if you want to go back and get rid of some documents that you don't need signed, you can go here and delete, 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 delete. And then I can get rid of that. And, or I can go up here and just discard. Okay. Didn't have to do all of that. I could just hit discard and discard it, and it's gone. Depending on what you're doing, you'll learn DocuSign. It's not super complicated. It's not super friendly, but it's not super complicated. All right. So that is Webforms. So recap. You click on Webforms, it takes you to your Webforms. And of course, it's going to be slow because I want to wrap it up now, right? So, all right. So it loads up your dashboard. Make sure that your DocuSign over in the shopping cart is set up. Make sure you go into your settings and make sure that all the proper information is input. And that's only once. You only have to do that once, okay? Then create your templates. Create a listing template, create a purchase template. You don't have to create, I got a little fancy, I just like to save time. I added a residential purchase for non-dual agency and one for dual agency. So all it is, the only difference is there's a dual agency form put in. That's it. And then you never have to go and over here where it says forms, or the hamburger, where it says forms, and try and go and pull a form separately. You may have to at some point, but why do all that, right? Or go and search documents, or go and search tabs. You'll notice here in your transactions, everything you've ever created and named is in here, and it just keeps going and going and going. As many as you have, they're always here. All right. Documents, anything you've ever uploaded, documents are in there, and then forms. But for each one, you want your transaction kit, you just click it, and that's your kit. So now you have the address, the picture, it's an open, and your forms are all here, and you can go through them, get them done. Send them to DocuSign, get them signed, and then get them submitted. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want to keep you any longer. This was a fairly long video, and I apologize for that, but it has to be gone over. And our next time, we'll go through a purchase and sale agreement, which you should know fairly well by now. But first time is always nerve-wracking. Don't worry, happens to all of us. So we'll go through that in a video, and you can use that video to go back and forth and check what you're doing. Okay. I hope you enjoyed. Welcome to the launch program, and I hope that you're learning as you go, and these videos are valuable. All right, I am going to stop sharing, and we're going to stop recording now. You guys have a great day.